We are back on Get Up, and it is time for one of our favorite wood-based puns. Would you believe with the big fella, Damian Woody? Here we go. D. Wood, would you believe Jordan Love and the Packers will win the NFC North?
I would believe that. Listen, Jordan Love, you think about it, he's one of the most talented quarterbacks we have in the game. Obviously, last year he sustained that injury early on. Would help the receivers catch the ball, but I think if all things aside, I think this Green Bay team's super loaded on both sides of the ball. I think the defense will continue to get better. And I think Jordan Love is going to start out much faster than what he started out the last couple of years.
Does he have another level? That's the question. You and I both picked him to be MVP last year. Obviously, it didn't go that way. Does he have a next level to take it to?
Yeah, no question about it. We don't talk about Tucker Kraft and Luke Musgrave enough, and I think it's another level, Green, but it's also consistency. And we hear Rex Ryan talk a lot about it. Like, he has some Brett Favre in him, so I think he can go to another level from a ability standpoint. D. Wood talked about the drops. They got Matthew Gold in the first round. And then 4 or 5 times a game, Greeny, throw it away. Just throw it away, eliminate the negatives, and this team has massive upside.
If he could do that, that would make a huge difference. This team has a loaded roster. They're really talented, tough division, but there's no reason that they can't win the division.
They play in a brutal division. I mean, you could tell me any of the 4 teams in that division were going to win, including Chicago, and I wouldn't tell you that you were crazy. Next one. Would you believe Baker Mayfield winds up leading the NFL in passing yards this season?
This is going to sound crazy. I would not believe it. And they have unbelievable skill in Tampa. But I think the reason why I don't think he's going to do that is because this is a pretty balanced team. Defensively, they're going to be good. We know Todd Bowles, the head coach, is also the defensive play caller. That unit's going to be good. Baker Mayfield will not have to sling the ball all over the field for this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team to win a lot of football games. And they have Bucky Irvin in the backfield, who I really like at the running back position.
They love Bucky Irving. I do think they'll be balanced. Josh Grizzard, who's their new offensive coordinator, we worked together in Miami. I think he's going to do a great job as third offensive coordinator in 3 years. Give Todd Bowles credit. Dave Canales, Liam Cohen gone on to be head coaches. This offense will be explosive. I don't know if he'll lead the league in passing yards, but this will be a top 5 overall offense.
Schefter, I feel like I'm hearing rave reviews coming out of there about their new receiver, Emeka Egbuka, who just adds to this ridiculous list of skill position talent they have.
It's been a steady drumbeat on him all summer long. Like, it started early, and sometimes with rookie wide receivers or young players, you hear something at the beginning of camp, then they fade off and you don't hear from them again. This has been consistent throughout, and there's an opportunity there for him because Chris Godwin isn't going to play the first couple of games of the season. Jalen McMillan, another wide receiver, has a neck injury that's going to sideline him half the year. So they're missing a couple of wide receivers, need some production from a young receiver, and Emeka Egbuka is going to have the chance to shine early.
Just remember that name. And if you're not aware of it, I mean, Ohio State has had a million great receivers in their history. He's the all-time leading receiver in Buckeye history. That's how good he was in college. One more for you, D. Wood. Would you believe 3 teams from the NFC East make the playoffs?
I would not believe that. Listen, I'm a big believer. I think the Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington Commanders, and I think that's it. I think when you look at, teams talk about like the Dallas Cowboys, I think the Dallas Cowboys got a lot of questions. We got to get past this Michael Parsons situation. Got questions on the defensive side. And I think the Giants could actually be a sneaky, team that's going to give a lot of people problems. Still have question marks on the offensive side. But for me, I'm taking 2 teams in that division, the Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington Commanders.
Yeah, I think the Giants are going to be a lot better. To make the playoffs would be a monster jump. They won 3 games last year. But with all the attention that has been placed on the Micah Parsons situation, let's hear from Dak Prescott on his expectations for the Dallas offense.
Yeah, an exciting offense. We've kept it vanilla for a reason. So excited about getting out there and putting it all on display next Thursday. It doesn't matter who the hell you're going against. Much respect and credit to them, but the emotions will just be about this team, 2025, and us starting the right way.
So it feels like a lifetime ago, Schefter, that we were talking about the acquisition of George Pickens, and oh my goodness, could this offense really be something? Because the Micah Parsons thing has just sucked all the air out of that entire franchise, at least it feels like from the outside. But how about what they could wind up being on offense?
Well, they have the Micah drama, and they have questions in their run game right now. So they're going to have to ride Dak Prescott in the passing game here with CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, who apparently has looked really strong this summer, and Jake Ferguson, their tight end, they're going to have to win games through the air. That's what it seems like. I know that the Cowboys have won running the football, and Brian Schottenheimer likes to run the football, but their most talented players on the offensive side are in the aerial attack.
I agree. If we want to give Dallas, a puncher's chance a week from Thursday night, you look at Philadelphia. No Darius Slay, no C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Adoree Jackson beats out Kaylee Ringo, but they're going to be young in the secondary. Dak Prescott is an experienced quarterback. Obviously, Brian Schottenheimer has been calling plays for a long time. So I agree with Adam. If we're talking about a Dallas Cowboy upset, they'll probably have to score in the 30s to win the game.
I would say this, offensively, it's going to look a lot different than the Mike McCarthy area. Mike McCarthy, he runs the offense. It's more static. Everyone stays still. That's not going to be the case with Brian Schottenheimer. You're going to see a lot of motion shifts, a lot of eye candy. It's going to look a lot different for Dallas.
They haven't, and you heard Dak use the word vanilla. They haven't shown you anything of what they're planning to do, so they will unleash it against their arch rivals a week from Thursday night. That's one of the reasons why I have been so frustrated with this Micah Parsons situation, because it really did feel like, for the first time, that should have been such an easy deal to get done. It felt like they should have had a really good offseason, a good training camp where the vibes were good and everything was pointing in a positive direction, and it just feels the opposite of that.
Well, again, the hope that you can draw from that is that there wasn't any hope or optimism in Cincinnati, and now Trey Hendrickson is done. There wasn't any hope or optimism in Washington. Now Terry McLaurin is done. There wasn't any hope or optimism in Dallas. Mike is not done, and we have some issues here. He still hasn't practiced. He still is a tight back, and Jerry Jones believes apparently this is his Waterloo, and he wants to win this
and I feel
situation.
Like, regardless of what anybody says publicly, this has to be the kind of thing that is creating problems. You're a player for a long time. Like, we all get it. There are holdouts, there are hold-ins, the players respect each other's rights, it's their money and all that stuff. But this thing feels like it's gotten so ugly, directly involving the owner, it has to have some impact on that room.
I think, listen, as a player, you know, in these type of situations, we tend to think of, okay, you know, a holdout is the equivalent of a guy being injured. But you see the guy every day.
Right.
You see him every day. And here it is, you're 9 days out from week one, and you're just thinking, I need all my guys to give us the best possible chance to win football games. And when you got the media constantly asking you about Micah Parsons and all this stuff, guys don't want to talk about that. Guys want to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. They don't want to talk about all this drama between Michael Parsons and Jerry Jones.
Greedy, you made a great point earlier about like the max contract of the NBA. Like, you could make an argument, well, Zach Martin, he's a guard, his age, Dak Prescott, third contract, durability. This is a no-brainer. This is in your prime pass rusher. You dream of this happening. You drafted him in the first round. So, you know, we've talked so much about McLaurin's age, and we've talked about Hendrickson's age. Like, this is a no-brainer.
By the way, all the players in Micah's draft class, all the great players, all have been signed to extensions. All the great pass rushers in the NFL, all have been signed to extensions this offseason. The one guy from that rookie draft class who's a great pass rusher, who doesn't have a deal, who isn't close to a deal, who hasn't even been talking to the team about a deal or gotten an offer in a few months, is Micah Parsons.
And he's 26, and he has 52 sacks in 4 years.
He was drafted in the same first round as Jamar Chase and Penei Sewell and several others. They've all gotten their deals. He's made 4 Pro Bowls. The only other one of that group that has is Chase. He's been as good, arguably the best player in that draft class, and it is one of the great draft classes in recent memory, and yet here we are, 9 days from kickoff. They've got all kinds of problems. All right, a reminder, the